Hi all, it's Ziv from Elementor. Today, I'll introduce you to Elementor experiments and compatibility tags, both features geared towards improving our release process and overall stability, speed, and performance of Elementor websites. Let's start with experiments, which allows you to experience, test, and provide feedback on some of our new and experimental features before they are officially released. In Elementor settings, go to the dedicated tab, where you will see a list of all available experiments. It's important to know that these features are still in development and are likely to change, evolve, or even be removed altogether, so use experiments with caution. Each experiment contains a brief explanation about the feature, a status indicating in what stage it is, and an activity indication. Experiments can either be active or inactive. To test an experiment on your site, simply click on the drop-down next to it and switch it to active. Then click to save changes. It turns green, indicating the experiment is active on the site. Gray means it's inactive. Experiments are either set to active or inactive by default, and you can set them to inactive at any time. Let's check out some of the experiments so you can get an idea of how it works. Bear in mind that you might see different ones, depending on when you watch this tutorial. First on the list is Optimized DOM Output. It's a smart way to improve the speed and performance of Elementor websites by reducing the amount of DOM elements on a page, but should be used with caution when activating it on existing sites, because it can cause sites that use custom code or third-party plugins to break. Therefore, it's not active by default on existing sites, but will automatically be activated on new sites. This experiment is currently in the beta stage. I've linked this doc in the description below, so go ahead and check it out to learn more. Let's move on with improved asset loading. This experiment also focuses on optimizing site speed and scoring by reducing the amount of code that is loaded on the page by default. When activated, parts of the infrastructure code will be loaded dynamically, so only when needed on the page, which can result in significant JavaScript file size reduction. This experiment is in the alpha stage and should also be used with caution, because it may cause conflicts with incompatible plugins. Therefore, it isn't active by default either. To learn more about this experiment, check out this dedicated doc I've linked in the description as well. Let's also check out accessibility improvements. This experiment aims to improve accessibility of Elementor widgets, so that your websites are more accessible and usable. Some Elementor widgets may need improvements to adhere to accessibility guidelines. The tabs widget, for example, which you can see on this page over here, creates empty anchor tags and is missing screen reader states per tab, which conflicts with accessibility guidelines. In addition, the empty anchor tags may be a negative search engine ranking factor. So in this experiment, to fix it, we removed empty anchor tags, added selected tab states, and improved keyboard navigation to help improve the ranking and accessibility of your sites. Let's check to see the improvement by using Google Lighthouse, which is an online tool that measures the quality of web pages. On this page, I'll go ahead and hit Inspect, and generate a Google Lighthouse report for accessibility and SEO. Okay, so this is the result with accessibility improvements deactivated. Let's go back to experiments and set it to active. Don't forget to save changes. Back in Google Lighthouse, I'll go ahead and run the test again. As you can see, there's a big improvement in both accessibility and SEO. This is just one of many planned accessibility enhancements geared towards making your websites more accessible and usable. Please note that these enhancements may include some markup changes to existing Elementor widgets. I've linked this doc in the description as well, so make sure to go over it before testing. Last on the list of experiments is landing pages, which adds a new, streamlined way to create and manage landing pages. We have a dedicated video going over it in detail, so be sure to check it out. Okay, now that the Elementor experiments are out of the way, let's go over compatibility tags. As you may know, there is a vast ecosystem of third-party extensions that build on and enhance Elementor's capabilities. When third-party developers don't update their extensions to make them compatible with the latest versions of Elementor, Elementor users can experience problems with their sites. To protect your sites from possible future conflicts, we created a compatibility tag that notifies users about plugins that are not compatible with the currently installed version of Elementor. This will make it easier to debug issues if they arise. Let's go to plugins and check it out. As you can see, there is a new Elementor version available. Before updating though, you will see this compatibility alert with a list of plugins that have not been tested with the latest version of Elementor. So to avoid issues, make sure they are all up to date and compatible. We would like to call upon all Elementor plugin developers to help us out with this, by making sure that your plugins are compatible and up to date with the latest version of Elementor. I have linked this doc in the description as well, providing all the info needed about using Elementor's compatibility tag mechanism. So be sure to check it out. Well, that's it. Now you know what Elementor experiments are and how they work. Read up about them before testing, and use them with caution. With great power comes great responsibility, although that might sound cliché. Regarding compatibility tags, it's important to know that any plugin with Elementor in its name will be automatically added to the list. So, for the benefit of our users, we urge you to register your compatibility status. As always, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips and tutorials. Ciao for now!